Hi everyone, and welcome to our video on using the sum and difference formulas in reverse. So what I mean by that is, let's scroll back up. So here are sums and difference formulas, or addition and subtraction formulas, with sines and cosines. And then there's also tangent, which we'll see being used soon as well, but really sine and cosine are the main ones. Okay, so we usually use them from left to right. So that's how these ones were from a previous video. And they are equations though, so that means we can go right to left. So that's what I mean, we can go in reverse. So in these problems that we have here, notice I've got cosine, cosine, and sine, and then the other formula, or the number 2, is sine and cosine, sine and cosine. So I've got lots of sines and cosines going on. So that means it's these formulas just from right to left. So what we want to do is change all the sines and cosines into a single sine or cosine function. So let's write those formulas down again, just right here, just the addition. So I'm going to write the sine A plus B would be sine A cosine B, and then keep the plus. So I remember the sine addition formula matches sine with cosine in each term. So here's sine and cosine, and then let's do another sine and cosine. Just make sure that the angle alternates. Okay, so I'm doing sine A cosine B, sine B cosine A, and then plus still in the middle. Whereas cosines, cosine of A plus B is cosine of A cosine of B. So I know it starts with cosine, and it likes to do cosine cosine, and then change the sign minus, and then do the sines, sine A sine B. Okay, so there they are. And then our tangent one, okay, so the tangent one, let's go ahead and get it too. Often I would say that this usually does the job, sine of A plus B over cosine of A plus B. Okay, it can take some time. So if we do have a tangent of A plus B problem and we're doing it left to right, that means we are doing really a sine addition formula and a cosine addition formula, and then eventually combining the two answers and dividing. Okay, so it could take a while. But what can happen too is we get this tangent of A plus tangent of B over 1 minus tangent A tangent B. The way I think of this, okay, so again, from here to here, that requires nothing new to know. Just we know that we have to do sine over cosine. And then going right to left though, or really all the way to that one, I often just think, oh, if I have a big old fraction with a bunch of tangents in it, it's probably an addition formula for tangent. So I try not to worry about it too much because it's very rare. So sine and cosine are our main ones. All right, so let's see them in action in reverse. So on number 1, we see, oh, the 7 pi quarters is on the unit circle, but the pi 12ths is not on the quoted unit circle. So these are both on there, but we can't do the pi 12ths part right away. And then we do notice, okay, I've got cosine, cosine, and then I have sine, sine, plus in the middle. That matches, let's start right there, that matches our cosine addition formula, or really subtraction formula. All right, so I'm going to say, well, it's 2 cosines back to back and 2 sines back to back. I know that this becomes cosine of the first angle, and then change the sign, so minus the second angle. And that's it. Well, that's it for the setup. And then now it's simplify. So we do need a common denominator. So this would get multiplied by 3. So we'd have cosine of 21 pi over 12 minus pi over 12. And then that simplifies to be cosine of 20 pi over 12. And notice these are each divisible by 4. So we have cosine of 5 pi thirds. And then that's on the quoted unit circle. And we can find it right away as 1/2. Okay, so all this addition, all that is just 1/2. It's the same thing. Okay, but this one was easier to do once it was rewritten. Okay, number 2, again, I'm just kind of looking and seeing what we've got. We've got, oh, sine and cosine, sine and cosine. So the sine and cosine is paired in each term. So that means I know, let's start, it's this sine equation. And then I would start to write it and say, well, I've got 177 And then I say, well, what should I do? Plus or minus? Well, it's this one. It's that same one, minus 27 degrees. And then continue simplifying. That is sine of 150 degrees. And that again is on the unit circle. Sine of 150 degrees is 1/2. Okay, so it's coincidence that they're both 1/2 in this problem, but those are the final answers to these. Okay, so let's see number 3. So this is what I mean. I see I've got a bunch of tangents going on. I focus on this plus up here and say, well, I think it's just those two angles getting added together. The 7π8 plus 3π8. And then from here, I can simplify by adding those two fractions. So 10π8. And then simplify again, tangent of 5π4. Then we say, oh yeah, that's on the unit circle. It would give us 1. Okay, so that's how I deal with tangent. I just think like that. Now, if we were unsure about what this might be, we could go backwards all the way and try sines and cosines of our 7π8 and 3π8 and break it down. But I don't think it's really worth all of that time. Okay, and again, tangent's pretty rare, so sine and cosine are our main ones. Okay, anyway, so that's going in reverse. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching.